Hello there, football freaks, and very welcome to the 14th episode of Talking K-Town, the podcast where we talk about K-Town. And because talking to myself would be very boring, I'm so happy, as always, that my dear friend Steven is again with me. Steven, how are you, my brother?
I'm doing really well. And by the way, I talk to myself quite often, and I get good conversations sometimes.
Sometimes you need the opinion of someone smart.
You need that back and forth with yourself.
Exactly.
You know? Like looking in the mirror after you drank too much and your head is hurting, and you look in the mirror and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Exactly.
Why do you do this every weekend expecting a different result?
Yeah. And then you say like, I don't know who you are, but I'm going to wash your face anyways.
Bad decisions sometimes make the best memories.
Absolutely. So. But who remembers wasn't at the party?
Yeah.
So with that in our minds, I would say we just talked beforehand, before we started the recording, that our beer looks really good and I'm thirsty as hell. So I would say I open up this beer, and today I don't have Bitburger nor Cola beer. I got this Maßbräu.
Okay.
Is that Maßbräu Helles? Yeah. Because we were playing against FC Nürnberg, which we're going to talk about pretty soon, I think. And I had a couple of guests, two of them from Beglück TV, all the very best. To these guys, let a subscription at their channel as well, because they're awesome. And
I joined them. I followed them last week. So
there you go.
I like the one guy. He always wears the White Sox hat. It says socks on it.
Oh, yeah. You mean Mitchell, the one with the beard, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask him about why he wears a White Sox hat. Like, I'm probably going to try to send him a Cleveland Guardians hat so he can represent Cleveland a little bit.
Probably we're going to have them on the Talking K-Town, but psst, not yet.
Don't tell anyone.
Don't tell anyone, exactly. And these guys were so kind and brought me 6 bottles, different bottles of, how do you call Franken in English? You just said it in advance?
I just, Franconian.
Franconian beer?
Yeah.
So I'm very happy, and stop talking, more drinking. Prost, my brother.
Prost. And I'm drinking, I think, the same beer that I had the last episode. It's Brew Kettle Oktoberfest Ale. We are in the middle of our second week of Oktoberfest. Mm-hmm. I went to the festival this past weekend. I think I drank 6 liters of beer, which is pretty good.
Which is average.
I go back.
Tuesday.
Yeah, I go back on Saturday. It's the last night of the festival, and there is a German band from Franconia.
Yep.
Called Dorfrocker. It's a German party band, and they are playing Friday night and Saturday night. So I'm hoping to meet them. They play from like 8 o'clock till midnight. So
that is awesome.
I expect to have a good time there. And this beer, I'm used to the Fest Ale from Hofbräuhaus over there, and this is really good. It's a good lager.
That's awesome.
And I've got something in my ear that's driving me nuts.
What?
There we go.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
And I'm having, as I said, the Franconia beer. It's a Helles, and thank you so much. It tastes awesome. Like, I'm really... sometimes I like to drink Helles, but not that often. But I just bought a carton of Helles from Carlsberg, which is our main sponsor for when it comes to beer in Kaiserslautern. And that tastes really, really good. So, yeah.
I had the... for anybody that's watching that's in Kaiserslautern, if you go to the Brauhaus there near the Altstadt by that's Stiftsplatz, right?
Yep.
They make all of their beer on premises. They have a Pils, they have a Helles, they have a Weizen beer, and then they have their seasonal beer. Like coming into the winter, they'll have like a Bock, I think a Bock beer. But their Helles lager there is very, very good.
Yes, it is.
I was a big fan, if I wasn't drinking pills, They call them a Keller beer.
Keller beer, yeah. Cellar beer is also very good.
Very tasty, very almost malty. I could talk about beer for hours and hours. It's my other than football, it's one of my favorite things to talk about because I'm a beer geek. So
okay, I see.
Yeah. But hey, we're on a little bit of a win streak, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Four wins in
four in a row with the Pokal included, but 3 league victories in a row, which a welcome change after week 2 where we were 0-2.
Oh yes.
So these are results that I can live by.
Absolutely. No doubts about that.
And we've had some really killer goals in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
Volley shots that were like out of a cannon. We'll talk about that. But yeah, Nuremberg, if we're going to go right into the match, Nuremberg, if a win was determined by what team played better for the most of the match, I think Nuremberg probably deserved
Bro,
the
don't
win.
we have to cover first up the game against Paderborn?
Oh, we can do that too. Yeah.
Let's do it in chronological
let's go chronological
order. order. Yeah. I guess that would be better.
Yeah, I was watching the your live stream that day, and something happened that has happened before in the match. The first time it was last season against Hansa Rostock, and somebody called in to say, "Hey, move Karl Heinz up toward the TV."
Yeah.
And as soon as you moved him, we scored a goal. And then last week, I called at around halftime and said, "Hey, move Karl Heinz up to the front." And then a minute later,
it happened again.
Goal. And I texted in to the show, and I think Bella read it out, and she said, "Karl Heinz magical bones." It's something in his bones that attracts the ball on the TV into the goal.
Karl Heinz needs to sit way more closer to the TV, but unfortunately next time this is not going to happen because my brother is joining us for the live stream.
Okay.
But Karl Heinz will sit. We need. I lay him on the. How do you call this?
The backrest.
Yeah. I lay him like Kate when she gets drawn by Leonardo DiCaprio in Titanic.
Mm-hmm.
He lays like this.
You're blushing, sir.
No, this is. That was again such an intense game.
Yeah.
Absolutely intense. We won 2-1. But the last minutes,
it was like it was like an
10
eternity.
years older.
It was like an eternity. Like, is this extra time gonna ever end, or is it gonna be going on and on and on?
Yeah. So we were the 2 goals ahead. No. Oh my God!
Yeah,
yes,
we were 2
goals ahead, and then they scored, and I was like, okay, Paderborn was the best team last season when it comes to goals, and I was really getting scared, like really, because I know that this team has really good quality. And the 6 minutes stoppage time ended up into stretching over 9 minutes. Yeah. That was not good for me, not good for my health, not good for my heart. But the excitement was crazy and such a relief.
Oh yeah.
To see that we can win away as well as home. So
the pressure of playing away is one thing, but then when you take the lead 2-0, you can't ever get comfortable with that kind of a lead because, like we've demonstrated against Heidenheim, we scored 2 goals in extra period or extra time. I'm thinking football because the NFL season starts on Sunday, so I'm thinking overtime, but the Nachspielzeit, the stoppage time.
Yeah.
So you could go from being 2 goals up to being tied in a heartbeat. It happened so fast.
Remember the game against Nuremberg. We were behind 3-1, and in the 88th minute we shot the 3-2, and I think it was the 92nd or 93rd or something minute where Clement had that very beautiful free kick which ended directly in the goal. So and I am we call it in Germany a burnt child, like I have so many situations where I remember where we had like the victory in our hands, and then were the last 5 minutes, and then we just threw it away. Like, there you go. You want to score a goal? No problem. Go ahead. Feel free. Yeah. That's why we're okay. And I was yelling at my fucking TV that this guy should stop the game now, please do me this favor. And it kept going and going and going, and Paderborn was attacking all the time,
hoping some fan would like run out and tackle like the official and be like
that would be awesome. Or otherwise a fan would run on the pitch and score a goal by himself, and the referee isn't watching, and the ball is in, so 2-2.
It's funny you mention that, because somebody shared a video this week on, I think it's on Instagram or Facebook, but I mean, it's the same company now, but evidently I think it was a German team, maybe it was Spanish. I have to look at the video now, but I might have sent it to you, but a fan wearing a full kit without, he had the top, the shoes, the shorts, but the only thing that was missing was the name on the back of the jersey. Well, he ran onto the field during the game. Okay. And one of the players passed him the ball, and he scored. No. And he threw his hands up and like slid on his knees in front of the home fans, and all the players are like jumping on him. Like they didn't realize who is this guy.
God. No, I haven't seen that. That sounds awesome.
It's like when your dream as a fan comes true, where you play an official part of the game and you score.
Yeah. Oh my God, that is.
And then you spend the next crazy 2 hours in jail because you stormed the pitch.
Come on.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I can see the point and why he's getting like banned from the stadium, because there is a very famous video where we played against Wien Wiesbaden. I think it was a Pokal game, and a guy was sitting. If it would be the guest block would be the west curve, he was sitting at the east curve, and he was looking at the camera and he was smoking a cigarette. It says like, "Okay, I'm now going on the pitch." Yeah, you won't. I'm going. And he was running down the stairs. He was jumping over the fence, and you see like it was looking like a movie, you know. The upper half of his body disappeared, and then you just see the legs coming up behind the fence, and then he was running on the pitch and yelling, yeah, and he got banned from the stadium for 2 years.
Yeah,
in Germany, in whole Germany, and that is not worth it. The short joke isn't worth this.
I really wonder, how do you enforce a rule like that? If you're banned from the stadium,
yes,
when you have 40,000 fans, is there a picture of you by the gate that says, "Hey, don't let this guy in"? I mean,
that is a very good question. Actually, when it comes to people like this, like I would say, it was a basic fan, not an ultra or something.
Yeah,
it is way harder to figure out if he is in the stadium. But when it comes to ultras, hooligans, and stuff, you have like, we call it a SKB policeman, which stands for Szenekundiger Beamter. So he knows the scene, he knows the ultras and the hooligans, and they're always watching our scene, and they recognize, oh no, he's not allowed to be here or something, and you get like you get an, how do you call it, you get like, when you get like when you do something wrong and you get a fee, like a punishment, you get like a letter. How do you call it when?
Yeah, it's like a notice, or a warning, like that. Yeah.
eine Anzeige. It's called in Germany. Like you go to the police when your neighbor is stealing something from you. You go to the police and you report this, and then he's getting like a letter. And yeah, so because you're technically it's a break-in for you get the punishment of not being allowed in the stadium, and you do it anyways. It's the same thing as you're trying to break into a house,
like trespassing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
And so the punishment could be really high, especially when it comes to ultras, because well, we're football fans and we all know we're criminals, all of us. Yeah. And so we get punished even more. But we can talk about the police in Bavaria in particular, because there happened something very interesting. And so that would be the punishment. You get like a real, you can end up in a real extreme situation, like the hooligans from Germany, the most known ones. When they had like the World Championship, I guess, in Russia or somewhere, they needed to, when Germany was playing, they had to go by themselves as a person onto the next police station and show their ID and show that they're not at the game, but at the police station while the game is going. Okay. So they just have to show up, show their ID. Then they got like a check mark. Okay, you were here. Now you can leave again, because, well, you can't travel to Russia in like 2 hours or something. No. And so this is then the restrictions where we can end up with, which is very sucky.
Yeah. See, if I was banned from the stadium, I'd be putting on like a disguise, like a big like mustache, you know, and maybe like a fake beard, and walk in
there.
And
the glasses, like the huge glasses with the nose attached. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Nobody will notice anything.
Never. But you know that this is like the people which are banned from the stadium. Actually, they're following their team anyways, and they gather together, and then they go like into a bar or something and watch the game there as an enemy team in the enemy city. They're sitting in a bar, perhaps even a scene bar from the enemies, to watch the game. So I guess you're just take a problem from the stadium, put it on the street. So yeah. Or
you're just handing the problem to somebody else to take care of. Exactly. Pretty much, so
and they're not controllable anymore. Yeah. And sometimes, which just happened, was that people which got banned from the stadium and they were traveling with their friends, at the train station they arrived, and the policeman caught them and said, okay, nice that you're here, good that you're leaving. They put him into the next train back home. Oh, wow. Yeah, that could happen. Wow. Yep.
So I guess you have to kind of travel, like we would call it incognito. Yeah. Where you're like undercover. Maybe instead of taking a train, you take a flexibus, maybe?
Yeah, perhaps. Or something like that. Or a car or something. But as I said, you have like the SKB policemen, and they know who is banned and who is like the troublemakers, quote unquote, or something. So, if you get recognized, and you can end up in real bad situations.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Unfortunately, because I think Stadionverbote, so getting banned, that's what we call like being banned from the stadium, is completely not working out. History has shown that there were so many fights in bars outside, because you have like, for example, you have a game, let's say K-Town against Kiel. K-Town, Stadionverbotler, so the people who got banned from the stadium, are traveling with their friends up to Kiel. They sit together in a bar. But Kiel also has people which are banned from the stadium. So they get
and they're
around,
at that same bar.
Perhaps. Or looking for each other. And then you have a bar and a huge fight, perhaps in the end. So I don't think that this is the best idea. but you have to handle the situation anyway, but in some kind of way. But that's not the correct one, if you ask me.
Maybe have like I actually just thought of this, and it's actually a pretty good idea, I think. Like in hockey, you have a penalty box. You know, so if you fight,
I know what you mean,
and they take you to a special section. Well, it's like, imagine like a special block for the troublemakers, and you have them all caged up, and they're still at the stadium, but they get let in. They close. It's almost like a steel cage match in the WWE. You know, you open up this cage. They can sit in there and watch the match. If they need a beer, then they can have one sent to them. And then when they're done, they open the gate and then they let them out. Like a little penalty box.
Yes, but then you treat them like real criminals, and they're not. Yeah. Because, well, if you burn like pyro or you run on the pitch, it's not like you committed a crime, like a huge one, like when you get like trample someone to coma or something. Mm-hmm. But funny that you just mentioned it. Someone is getting you a beer. There was a very funny coincidence in I think it was a 6th league or something. There was a very small group following their football club to an away game, and the president of the football club, I don't know her name. Can't remember it. She walked over and was waving a €100 bill and yelled at the fans, and they were walking toward her, and she said, "Because you're supporting so great, here's $100. Buy beer for everyone."
Oh wow!
That is a very nice move, brother.
That's really, that looks really good on the ownership too.
Yes.
Especially when you are a small team like a village club, and you don't have the fan base that we do. To show love for the fans that actually not only show up at home but go on the road. I mean, that's the sign of a good owner that
absolutely
knows where she is, knows what's going on, and
know who to appreciate.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same thing when I guess it was Ferl from the 3rd league. They had only one fan following them, and because of his passion and that he was there on the away game, he got like his season ticket bought for the next one.
Oh wow!
From the club, so I thought that was a very nice move of them as well.
Yeah, and we've talked about this guy before, but the Bucknong, the team that has Ultra. The one Ultra guy, he's really cool because that to me is a true fan.
Yes.
Like if you go on the road, you take the train, and you're taking all of your stuff with you, the drum, the signs, the pyro. That's neat. I mean, that to me is sports
that is
in
football.
A nutshell. You know?
And this is football how it should be.
Yeah.
But back on track, we got completely off track.
Yeah, that train got derailed pretty quick.
Extremely. So I guess we need to talk about the way more important game, because if you ask me, the game against Paderborn was really intense and was really, really tough for my nerves. But the game against Nuremberg was extremely stressful.
Oh yeah.
Nuremberg was starting so extremely strong. Like we had one goal shot. I guess it was in the 9th minute, and then they turned up the speed and had in the 13th and in the 15th minute very, very good attempts.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, after a corner in the 19th minute, we scored.
Yeah.
With such a freaking beautiful goal. Oh my God!
That's from
Touchy.
Yeah, that another volley. What you call it? I guess a volley shot. Where you know I think the keeper cleared it.
Yes,
and on the fly, Taki just. I call him Taki because we have a player on the Browns called Taki.
Oh, that's a cool name.
Takitaki. I think he's
Taki.
Polynesian or from the islands like Samoa, Guam, the Polynesian islands. But the ball just it doesn't even hit the ground, and he's already coming down with his foot and it was just you can't do anything.
No,
the goalkeeper was not even expecting that.
No,
you know?
And it was measured with. Let me calculate.
30 meters?
Yeah, 30 meters with 100 kilometers per hour,
Oh,
so
yeah.
around about 60 miles per hour.
That's
60-ish.
a bullet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 100. Yeah.
And that was such. We call it a Sunday shot. Like usually something like this goes over the goal or hits the bar or anything, but that was such a beautiful and unexpected goal. And I just read an interview from him, and his sister was joining the game for the first time, and she recorded his goal, and she had to go out of the stadium, or in the catacombs as we like to call it, because it was too loud for her. Even though she's a grown woman, but she was joining him back in when he was playing for other clubs like Paderborn and Wolfsburg, but she said she wasn't so used to this kind of loudness in the stadium, which speaks for us.
Yep, I mean that's what we're known for. The Betzenberg has always been a scary place to play for the opponent. So much history. Now I know I've asked you how the new stadium compares to the original Fritz-Walter Stadion before you had the high glass concrete. Is it louder now, or is it louder back in the old days before the renovation? I
would say it was louder back then because it was more compact. The stadium wasn't as high as it is nowadays. You have the roof wasn't as high as it is now. You have I have no idea how much the measurement is. Let me guess, like 30 to 50 meters. It's hard to
visualize
it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And now it gets like the volume it has way more room to go on the pitch, but before we had the renovation, it was way smaller, so the volume was way more packed and was pushing with force on the pitch, so there was a completely different feeling. It is great how it is now, but back then it was way more hardcore. But that's because the west curve is way higher now. If you would put the roof lower to make it a smaller distance between the roof and the block, the last place on the top wouldn't see anything, or wouldn't see the opposite goal, you know.
So you wouldn't have the action.
It needs to be this big, but I think this was. We had a very good spirit in the block. The Nuremberg fans were also, again, really good.
Hats off to those guys, man! What a pyro display! Wow,
absolutely crazy, amazing.
Yeah.
They put it up there, Troublemaker Nuremberg banner on top, and actually when they put this up, shit is getting serious, and they took this real serious. That was an extremely great pyro show. I really enjoyed it and I really loved it. The only thing I'm complaining about is that they sometimes they just turned on pyro, like flares or the strobes things, even though they were behind and there was no actual reason to light pyro. I have no idea why. But then we had the 26 minute. Yep. The 26th minute, and it was Puchak.
Puchak.
Also a very good shot.
I still can't pronounce his name. Timit Toots. Puchak. It's Puchak. I think the first name translates to Timothy.
Something like this.
Timit Toots. Yeah, it's weird, but he had a volley shot. Not quite the same. It kind of went on the ground. And the defender kind of deflected it into the corner, and the keeper didn't even see it.
No,
it was like boom, boom, and it was done.
Was completely impossible for him, because if the ball wouldn't have been deflected by the defender, he had a chance to get the ball, and not a tiny one, but because he deflected it, it got in a completely different direction. Like when you look from the top, it would go like this, but because the deflection was right here, it gone completely in the different direction.
So
about
a 45-degree angle there.
Absolutely impossible for no doubts, and no. I'm very sorry for the keeper, because I think he was a very good one. And we had big problems with him. No problem, no doubts about that. Yeah. And then in the 29th minute, could you imagine 11 minutes, 3 goals? What the fuck? Was, after a corner, it was Ache who jumped the highest, and
once again using his head.
That is, I think all the transfers we did, like all the new players, they need a little more time, but you see like things growing together. You see what the end
result can be.
I
mean, every single one has contributed, and I hate saying this about Terrence, but he's not getting any younger. He's getting slightly older. Aka reminds me of a younger Terrence Boyd. He's got the height. He's got that killer instinct when he's in the box and the ball is going up high. Same with Terrence Boyd when he's, battling for position for a corner. He uses intensity to, push people away and get up where he can use a headshot. And Aka is just, he's younger, he's quick, and he's just a beast when he's in there, which I think when Aka goes out, Boyd comes in, so it's kind of like a 1-2 punch. Like, all right, you dealt with Aka, now you get to deal with a fully rested Boyd.
And this is what I was saying, like the last time or the last few times. I would really love to see Ache and Boyd together in the attacking position on the wings, Opoku and Redondo in the middle fields, Rita to make the game quick. And that would be so amazing, but both of them aren't on 100% right now, so I can see the point, but still I would love to see that. Perhaps it's going to happen, because Boyd, we're going to talk about him in a few minutes, so let's keep that chronologically. And but then the goal from Nuremberg, it was good. You can say something about that. So, and after the goal, I don't want to see seem to be very negative or something, but that scared me a lot, because I know what can happen if two traditional teams meet each other and fight for what they love, and both of the teams do that. You have the new player in Nuremberg, I guess he's 17 or something, and he scored, I think, 4 times this season. So I was really getting scared, like, okay, this could be a draw. Because if they keep up the speed, because even though we scored 3 times in 11 minutes, they were still fighting and made a very, very, very good game. And so
that's why I was saying at the beginning of our show, if a victory was given to the team that played the best all-around match, Nuremberg completely dominated us for the most part of the match. They were faster, they had more attacks, and they had more possession, but again, which has been our kind of theme for the year, we make more out of our smaller opportunities than teams that have the ball for 65-70% of the match, and they take the same amount of shots. Ours are more quality, because we're taking advantage of our opportunities. And
brother, remember yourself when we were playing, when we were in the situation. I used the word situation today this much. Last year, or the season before the last season, how many times have we been the better team? We had more ball possession, more attacks, more shots at the goal, and we lost. Football, even though it's hurtful, but it is a result game. Nobody cares how many times you can have like 100 to 2 goal shots, but if you're not using your 100 chances and the other team takes the 2 and is making 2 goals, you lose to nothing. So. Yeah, but they kept fighting really, really good. And when the 3-2 was scored, I was like, okay, this shit is going to be turned around completely.
Yeah.
But the VAR... Offside, which was correct, but I was still standing in the block and was yelling "Scheiß VAR" because no one needs that. I would rather deal with a false decision than having like all the passion and emotions taken away. Because after a goal, you're always like biting your nails. Is this going to count, or was there a foul like an hour ago or something?
Yeah.
So. Yeah, but still, that was very, very, very lucky for us. But they scored again. Yep.
And once again, offside. It was canceled.
Yeah. Also, a correct decision. And to be absolutely honest, I can't complain about the referee team. They got a 2, which is a B in school notes. For their work on this game from the kicker. There were no false decisions. Everything's absolutely clear. So a very good attempt. They made a very good job, especially when you think about you have these 2 extremely emotional and fightful groups of fans on both sides. It was going back and forth the whole time. From when it comes to chants from the fans, it was amazing, really amazing.
Now, I have a question about the VAR. When a whistle is called for a review, and the officials go to the sideline, are they the ones that look at the film, or does it get sent somewhere else? Because in American sports, when you have, like in the NFL, and they have a video review, no matter where that game is being played, it goes back to the NFL headquarters where they have a specific non-biased official that is watching the film. Then he gets on the phone and said, I've seen it, the call is right or it's incorrect. But I think in VAR, that is done in the stadium. It's not done in a different city, right?
It is in Cologne. There are sitting referees and watching the games. And if there happens something like the goal, which got checked by the VAR, he is calling the referee to check the goal, this goal again, the situation again, and they walk into the sideline, and there is a screen where he can watch it like 20 times, as many times as he needs to see it, and then he's making his decision.
Okay.
But as far as my knowledge goes, is that the VAR says in advance that he thinks it was offside. So the referee knows where to look at exactly, because if he would say like, okay, it checked the situation again, and there was a foul, but the foul wasn't enough to blow the whistle. He could focus on the foul, but not on the offside. You know what I mean? Yeah. He could take double duty, but that doesn't make any sense. So the referee from Cologne,
kind of like what happened to Kraus when he scored the goal, but then they canceled it because of I think it was a handball, right? And then they made him do the penalty kick.
Yeah, it was a handball. So it needed to be a penalty, but we had the advantage of the hand play, okay, because we scored. But after that, there were an offside situation. So he blew the whistle for the hand play, not for the offside, because the advantage was gone. We took the advantage for the goal, but there was an offside situation, so that's why. It was confusing, and no kidding, I was so freaking happy that I have friends in the block who checked it immediately on their phones what's going on, because we were standing in the block and we had no idea what's going on. Yeah. Really, we were standing, why?
It's like the fog of war. You have no idea what's going on around you. Pretty much, yeah.
And there's the discussion now if the referee could announce through the stadium speakers why he's taken this decision. But the DFB is saying no, that is way too much pressure for the referee and stuff. And don't get me wrong, if you're doing the wrong job, if you're not able to explain your decision why the goal wasn't a goal or the foul wasn't a foul or the penalty or something in front of 1,000 people, because in the end, everyone is going to complain anyway, so you can't please everybody, so make it clear on the spot. I think that would be way better. So but yeah, we had a very interesting situation again at the end of the game. Boyd got on the pitch and he was running toward the goal, had a one-to-one situation.
Oh,
and
he had a guaranteed goal.
Absolutely. And the keeper left the penalty area and put it into the ground. But Boyd, the fighting machine, was getting up as fast as he can and scored the goal. But beforehand, it got because of the foul, it got the referee blew the whistle, whatever, and so it was the red card for Nuremberg, which is very, very sucky for them, because that means they're having their huge derby upcoming next week against Greuther Fürth, which is you can compare it to Kaiserslautern Waldhof Mannheim. This is a very extreme and intense game, and now they're missing their keeper. Yeah. And the situation got even worse because they took their 4 times of swapping people, their players, so the changing, and then the what was his name? His name was Hartmann or something. He needed to, or Handwerker or something. He needed to go into the goal as a defense player.
Yeah, I saw him. He was changing the jerseys and he was putting the keeper's jersey on him. It was really funny to see that, And
the only time I remember, must be many other situations, but one of the games I remember the best was the one between Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund, and Jan Koller, which was an attacker, in fact, for Borussia Dortmund. He got into the goal for, I guess, like 15 minutes or something. And he was a very tall guy, and he was doing such a good job. No kidding. Because Bayern Munich threw everything to attack. Like everything. And no goals. No goal. He was doing such a good job. Of course, Dortmund defended like hell, but still... Some goal chances were there, and Koller were doing a very good job.
Yeah, I wonder if during the practice, do non-goalkeepers actually practice in the goal for a scenario like that might, hey, if Luther was injured and Kral got a red card and they needed another player to go into the goal, I wonder, maybe they ask, hey, who here has ever played goalkeeper before? Or is there a set guy that practices maybe once a week to do basic blocking?
So usually you have you just have a particular amount of players which you're going to announce for one game.
Yeah.
Let's say you have Kral, and Lute would have still be banned because of the foul against Schalke. And then you have Spalch.
Yeah.
And actually you don't want to spare one more player for a special goalie. Because otherwise you would take one of our sub 23 team, I'm sorry, for our from our sub 23 team, the goalie. But as I said, you don't want to just throw away this spot. I'm sorry, the beer.
Yeah.
But actually, as far again as my knowledge goes, you have a player which is used to play on many positions, especially when they were younger. Sometimes you have the players who are grown up to be a defender or attacker or something. But do you remember Tim Wiese?
I vaguely recall the name, yeah.
He then, after his career in football, he joined the WWE.
Okay.
And he's like this. Like, no kidding, he has this kind of arms and completely strange, this guy. But he started as an attacker, then he ended up in the middle field, then in the defense, and then he ended up as a goalie because he was too lazy to run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's too heavy.
Yeah.
All those muscles, you know.
Back then, not as heavy as now, but sometimes you have players which are going the completely other direction, and then you say, okay, you once played in the goal, we need you to at least practice a little, but not on a weekly basis, I guess.
Yeah.
But come on, especially when you're a defense player, I guess you have the more like the feeling to be a goalie rather than an attacker or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, but if you are like Oliver Kahn or something, you can play as a goalie, as an attacker. That happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was a strange guy, but yeah. But one thing I have to brag about is. Or flex, anything like this, both the same, right?
Yeah.
I got my honoring of my lifelong membership for my beloved K-Town club.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. I saw the photos. Yeah.
In advance, so that was. Bro, I've been in the stadium so many times when it was empty. Like I had the chance to be on late at night while the lights were running. To be standing in the middle of the pitch all by myself. That was a very, very intense situation for me because having like just the feeling to stand there is so amazing.
Oh yeah.
And then when you walk towards the West Curve, when it's completely packed with fans, I can't describe the feeling, and it was just amazing, and I was so happy, and I'm still so glad that my wife arranged all the situation, because she were arranging the stuff and collected the money from all of my friends to get me the lifelong membership, and just that was, I will never forget this, never ever in my whole life.
Yeah, I mean, being a fan of that club as long as you have been, and to be in that position for the first time, to be on the pitch with all these people around you, that's like a dream come true for anybody.
Yes.
See, just to be on the pitch alone. I remember, I had commented on your page that I remember when we stormed the pitch after Herrscher made the score 0-2, and the game wasn't even the match wasn't even over yet, and all of a sudden you just see groups of people running onto the pitch and just celebrating and being in that moment. You don't think about anything else. You're like, I don't give a shit if I get in trouble. Yep. I'm running onto the field because this is a memory for me that I will be able to look back 30 years from now and be like, I remember that one day. And that's congratulations, number one. But I'm sure that must have been like a dream come true.
It absolutely was. It absolutely was, because thinking of being not on the same spot, but a very similar spot as a player, was always...
You were doing a corner kick, because you were kind of in the corner.
That would be great, yeah. So, short thing, I have a Grafenbräu now. So, cheers.
Okay.
Prost, Bruder.
Cheers. Number 2.
Also very tasteful. Very tasteful. Recommend it.
I really, really wish that I could mail beer from the States to overseas, but the postal service is very strict on
when it comes to alcohol,
mailing stuff. Yeah,
especially like not just alcohol, but isn't it like problematic to send like fluids in total?
It can be. Yeah, a lot of people get around the ban by saying, hey, they'll send a bottle of beer, and they will, on the declaration for like customs, they will say collectible glass or a collectible bottle.
Because, that is a smart move.
My person is not intending to drink it; he just wants the bottle.
Okay,
it happens to have the beer in it. Another way around it is if you work for a a brewery.
Yes,
And
yeah, no, of course.
You can send like product samples without needing a license, and you can mail that anywhere you want.
Oh, okay.
But as a private citizen, I can't say that I'm a brewer and I am sending my product samples overseas to my friend Matze to sample.
Unfortunately.
So, yeah.
So you have to come over and bring it for yourself.
Right now to have Flensburg. A Flensburger.
Oh, Flensburg. Also very good.
My favorite pills that I've ever drank.
It is extremely tasteful, Yep. Also recommended. But yeah, a completely other topic, because I was teasing beforehand. We have had a very strange situation at the game between Borussia Mönchengladbach away in Augsburg.
Okay.
And in Germany, the police, especially when it comes to Bavaria, is extremely weird, and I mean extremely. To make an example, we have the big friendship to 1860, right?
Yeah.
So, we were playing our away match, third league, against 1860 in Munich.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. And the police invaded the guest block.
Oh, not just that, but beforehand we had a meeting point for the 1860 fans and the K-Town fans to celebrate our friendship and just hang around, talk to each other, and just enjoy ourselves. And then it was officially announced, and the police, we were trying to get there, was saying, no, you're not allowed to go there. We want to prevent fights or something. We need to separate the two fan bases. Go directly to the stadium. No freaking kidding.
Why would we fight? We're friends.
I have no clue. Ask the police in Bavaria. And of course, that was the same day, which you were just talking about, where they attacked the block. After the game, there happens to be like some people were like jiggling the fans. The fence, not the fans.
Yeah.
And one of the security gates opened, and it was closed immediately. Not that people were trying to get on the pitch or something. No. They were walking to the door, took the door, and closed it back again. No one was in the middle of the pitch or something. No one. And then the policemen ran into the block and were hitting the people with their tonfas, and that was so fucked up. Luckily or unfortunately, whatever way you want to look at, I was in the hospital at this situation. At this time, because I was falling down the stairs and I was bleeding out of my head, and that was not fun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But the fun thing here is I got out of the hospital by myself, and luckily my father was with me, and we took a taxi, and I said, I pay you $50 if you get us to the train station as fast as possible. And he said, yeah, we can try that, but we're going to have heavy traffic. And like 2 kilometers away from the train station, roundabout, I can't remember exactly, we were in such a traffic jam. My father and I just jumped out of the car, out of the cab, because we were using the special train for the K-Town fans, and the train was like taken off in like 10 minutes or something, and then we needed to run there like as fast as we can, and of course we were running late. Of course. Yeah. And friends of mine, greetings to the Red Fanatics, they were standing in a wagon there, and they moved out the first door. The police were walking toward them and said, get back into your wagon? I have no idea how to pronounce it. And then they moved out of the back door again to prolong the train, to make sure that my father and I were getting on the train again. And they made this for so long that we were able to get it. Greetings to my friends.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Yep.
Very nice. So, but the problem at the game between Gladbach and Augsburg were in the second half. Nobody knows exactly why. A policeman started gunfire by accident and hit a car from a group of Gladbach fans. Luckily, nobody was in there, but still, they were shooting at a car by accident. And here is when it comes to the funny part. 4 policemen were injured. 3 got like when your ears are popping because of the too loud noise. And one of them were hitting, like when you have like scratches on your skin and it's bleeding a little.
Yeah.
So 4 injured policemen. And no kidding, these 4 policemen getting to the statistics from violence against policemen in a football when it comes to football.
Wow.
It was their fucking fault. They were doing such a big mistake, and it's our fault as football fans.
Just for being there.
Just for being there, and it wasn't our fault. And the fun doesn't stop there. If a policeman is getting out of his car, just regularly get out of his car, no trouble situation or anything, and he's taken the step by the wrong way and he's hurting his ankle or something, injured while a football match.
Oh, wow.
Again, in the statistics. Even though if he can keep doing his duty, still. If a policeman is making himself like a sandwich or something and he cuts his finger by himself with a knife, injured while a football match.
Wow.
This is completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
And then it says like, 22% more of of policemen got injured while football matches in Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you do me a favor and be honest? And on the other hand, you have like a very, 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 very tiny amount of injured football fans when it comes to police violence.
Yeah.
You know, back when we played the last game last season against Düsseldorf, we lost 3-0. That sucked, and we got blocked from being we were how do you call it when there were a barricade of policemen and you can't pass by.
Yeah, it's a barricade.
A barricade, yeah. And all of a sudden they started to spray pepper spray into the crowd. Kids, women, old people, and no kidding, I'm very honest when it comes to something like this, but I know people who were standing right there. There was no argument for them to use pepper spray, and so many fans got injured, kids got injured, women, old people, as I said, and nobody cares. Nobody counts that. Nobody ever tries to help them, even if the Sanitäter, the Red Cross people, how do you call it? The first aid guys? I have no idea.
EMS, emergency medical people.
Not even them were able to help, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody. And luckily, the fan groups of K-Town gathered together. We have like this big group for all the fan groups, the ultras, the regular fan clubs and stuff, and they wrote an open letter for the police officers which are taking care of business when it comes to football matches. And luckily, I think that helped, because last year it was a high-risk game against Nuremberg, but this time both fan groups walked peacefully next to each other down the hill. We were joining each other at the Betzabud and had a couple of beers together. Everything was so fine. No trouble. Yeah. Everything is cool. So it works. It works. Give the people the responsibility and they would take it.
Yeah, it's a term that we call policing ourselves. When you're together, take care of your friends, and self-policing is what we call it. You know, if you have a guy that's acting out and being an idiot, put him in his place and say, hey, dude, knock it off.
Exactly.
You know? And you'd be surprised at the amount of situations that will never happen because fans are taking care of their own problems with themselves, pretty much.
Yes, and I don't want to point any finger on policemen. I know their job sucks. Really, to be like the after a lost game that some guys, some fans can't behave themselves and pass by policemen and say like, you mother F word or something. I was using the word fuck so many times, so who cares? And they have to be still calm. But I've been in many situations with the police, and yeah, they're sometimes very provocative. You know, we were playing in Bochum, and I was standing there. Have you ever been in Bochum?
I have never been there, no.
Okay, so the stadium is right here, and then you have like a big road passing by, and here is the parking spot for the guest fans. We were standing at that heavily traffic road and tried to get over to the stadium, and there were standing policemen right out of their car, and I was there together with let's say 5 other people.
Okay.
And we were waiting to have like a space between the driving cars, and the policeman came over and said, "Get over there." And we were like, "Yeah, we can't jump over the street. We need to wait to have to be able to cross the road.
To do it safely. Yeah, to do it safely. Yeah."
And then the space came, and then he said, "Yeah, have fun next year against Hansa Rostock." Back then they were playing in the 3rd league as well. We were in the 2nd league and on a relegation spot. And he was saying that in such an extremely aggressive way, like, could you behave yourself like a tiny bit? And here comes the twist. I got it on record. I got it on my GoPro.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'd be like, nice way to be professional there. You know?
Yeah, you don't want to have any trouble, so don't be. Don't provozier mich nicht. Don't provocate me.
Provoke.
Don't provoke me.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And you know, if you mentioned about the police that shot pepper spray into the crowd. Well, maybe some people will defend that. Oh, he was in a stressful environment and he was trigger happy and it was an accident. Well, if you can't handle that environment as a law enforcement member, maybe you should be walking down the street giving parking tickets.
That would be the way better position for you. Yes, absolutely.
Because I've met many police people over there during high-risk matches. Every time at home against Waldorf Mannheim, the match against Mainz, and you see them with the riot gear, the black with the helmets and the shields.
And they're the thing up here that you don't even recognize them anymore.
And I'm at the Wetzultra, and that's when we did the fan march into the circle with the 11 friends right there. And that's kind of where we were all hanging out. And then the police kind of barricaded the road to the left that goes up towards the guest block entrance. And then you had the right way, which goes up Fritz-Walter-Strasse, and it goes up to the stadium. And they kind of had us contained. And I was drinking a beer, and I was just kind of hanging around, and I saw this. She looked young police officer, but she was in her combat gear. And I said to her in English, I'm like, "My God, I would not want your job right now with the high risk game and the heat, because it was a summer day."
Oh yeah.
And they were in full outfit, and I'm like, man, I thank her for keeping everybody safe and put my hand on it. She shook her hand and said, "Thank you very much. I appreciated that." And it was nice.
That is nice.
There's some nice ones, but then you have the one bad cop that makes the rest of them look bad.
Yeah, and this is the thing where they say, as you said, police yourself and keep the troublemakers out of the stadium, and we don't need so many policemen. But on the other hand, you are the policeman, so you should police yourself as well, and keep like cops which are provocative to you
or trigger happy.
Yeah. And sometimes I've been like on the in Kaiserslautern and on so many away games. Like really, I think they're around about 380. I got like Footballology, so I can look that up. So around about 380 games, and I was never ever scared. Like so many high-risk games, and I had never felt like I'm in danger, even though I had situations where it got like a little tricky or a little more violent, I would say. Not extreme violent, but you can feel like the tension in the air. But I got way more scared sometimes of the police when they're standing like next to each other, as you said, in riot gear with their tonfas already in their hands, and I'm passing by and I think like, okay, if I, you know that my visual is like a little strange because I'm visually handicapped, and he thinks like, oh, he's looking strange to me and wants to provoke me, just to hit me on the back or something. I can do anything. If I want to try to sue him or something. Oh, there's the word sue. No way, no chance, never ever. So I always feel like more in danger by the police, and I know that their job is hard, and don't get me wrong, I don't say that every cop is a pig or something. Not absolutely not, but please do yourself a favor and help yourself by making the picture of the police in the public, in the whole community better.
In the public eye.
By just take policemen which are problematic and put them on hold or something. Yeah. But they don't do this, so.
And I've never been in that situation. I've been to all the high-risk games when I was there. I went away to Mannheim, and I told, my German coworkers at the time, my colleagues there, that I was going like, oh, that's dangerous, man. It's like, I wouldn't go to Mannheim at all because it's, you could get jumped. I'm like, well, I'm going to be with people, and if I have to, I will defend myself.
Of course.
And I will swing right along with anybody else.
Yep.
And I never once felt in danger at all. And you had mentioned the time in Munich where the 1860 fans were kind of shaking the fence. I was at the last match in, I think it was 2019, where we ripped a whole row of seats and threw it into the pit. And then at the end of the match, they were moving the gate back and forth. And then I think 20 or 30 men went onto the field. And then the police lined up.
Oh, you mean against Mannheim, right?
Yeah. I was at that match. I was right by the front, right by the capo of the guest block, which was another all-time favorite experience to see that environment on the road, to be right in the middle of the ultras, and to see and to hear all of the bengalos going off. We all went into the guest block at one time. We just kind of flooded into the block wearing red. That was something that most Americans will never, ever get to experience.
No.
And I was one of the lucky guys that did that.
Not even many Germans will.
Yeah.
Because many German fan bases don't have like this kind of scene as we have.
Yeah. But I remember the police chasing the ultras that made it onto the pitch, and then chased them back into the guest block, and all the ultras were kind of holding the yellow gates closed, and I took pictures of everything that I saw. I even saw in the I think it was in the Rheinpfalz newspaper, and then also in the Mannheim newspaper, just the end results of the match. And you see the fence toppled over, the seats taken out and thrown on. It was like, it's not a good look, but at the same time, it's like awesome because the fan side of you're like, yeah, we just fucked up their stadium really bad.
Yeah, but on the other hand, they do the same thing as on our place. And a coworker of mine, he is a very proud Waldhof Mannheim fan. And he's always like, yeah, we have been there and we robbed like a beer stand or something. Like, yeah, is this something where you can be proud of? I have no idea. I think that is childish. It doesn't give a good look for our club. And I think it is one of the most important things for me to represent my club on the outside as good as it could be. Like having situations like in St. Pauli or something where we drink all the beer. They were completely ran out of beer. Like 2 or 3 times when I've been there. Würzburg, completely out of beer. Wiesbaden, completely out of beer.
It's like when the Scottish guys from Kilmarnock come to the 12th man and they're out of beer in like 2 hours.
Absolutely. And then you have like a very good spirit in the block, loud, extreme. Everybody is getting along with each other. This is what I want to see my club.
Yeah.
And not like in the newspaper, K-Town chaotic guys robbed a beer stand or something. This is childish for me.
Oh, yeah. But whenever you travel, like even over here, I'm one Kaiserslautern fan in the city of Cleveland, Ohio. I might be the only one. I don't know. But whenever I wear my FCK stuff, I look at myself as a fan, but I'm also an ambassador.
Yes.
So if I act like an idiot and I'm getting rowdy and out of hand, and the only thing that they remember is the shirt that I'm wearing and what is on there, then that might be, oh, those guys are just assholes.
Absolutely.
So,
and this is not acceptable.
Nope.
So, as you said, you're wearing your shirt, and you represent your club in the same situation. So,
even thousands of miles away over here, there are a lot of football fans. There's not many K-Town fans. Like I said, I might be the only one in Cleveland, maybe not. I don't know. But it puts you in a unique. Say when you went on vacation to the island, and I'm sure you wore your K-Town stuff.
Of course, every day.
You're an ambassador.
Yep.
People be like, I've never been to K-Town, but I remember meeting this one guy one time.
Brother?
And he was
you
really...
were off for a second.
Oh, yeah, something must have... Yeah, I saw the video pause, but
okay.
You might be the only memory of K-Town that somebody has. I've never been there. Oh, I've never heard of K-Town, but I did meet this one guy.
And he was a complete asshole.
He was on vacation, or he was really awesome.
Nice guy.
And now I want to go and check out the city.
Yep.
Yep. So put your best foot forward and have fun. Just keep it under control.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said. So, but again, off track. And we're talking about risk games. So here's the very good bridge we got. We're having our next big game upcoming next week against Karlsruhe.
Karlsruhe, wir scheißen es zu. I miss hearing that. I sang that for the first time in Stuttgart.
Oh,
when I went up to Stuttgart to watch a Stuttgart Holstein Kiel match.
Oh, awesome!
This was in, I think, 2019. Yeah, 19. Yeah, I was not even born yet. But we were, I think they drew or they lost maybe, and we were on the train station in Bad Cannstatt waiting to get back to K-Town. And we heard that chant, and all the K-Town fans that were there, it was about 8 or 9 of us, joined in.
Yeah.
And now we can sing it for real because that is our rivalry now. We don't have Saarbrücken, we don't have
Mannheim.
Karlsruhe is really the only club that we have any problems with now. So this is our 1 game out of 2 games every year that will have this derby.
Yep. So, unfortunately, but on the other hand, well, the German, the Rheinland-Pfalz newspaper, Rhein-Pfalz, it's called. They tried to make the game against Elversberg a derby as well.
Yeah. It's not.
No, absolutely, it's not. But
just because of how close they are. What, 40 kilometers outside of Cape Town?
Yes,
50?
yes, roundabout.
40 to 50?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. 50-ish. But yeah, we're having the game, the big derby upcoming. What are your expectations for the game?
This will be an away match, right?
Yes,
so,
it will be.
I'm gonna say, like I always say it every time I'm asking, just get points. You know, every point that we get that gets us closer to our magical number of staying up.
Yep.
In our division is good, but I think the players know that it's a derby and it's that extra energy.
Yep.
No matter where those teams are in the table, no matter how good one team is and the other team might be at the bottom, all of that goes out the window.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope we approach this match just like we did on our last road victory, and get ahead and stay ahead and fight and show. I think we're getting better every week. So I'm hoping that this little break that we have for the weekend.
We're having a game tomorrow.
Yep.
The goodbye,
that's right, yeah.
The goodbye match for Mike Wunderlich.
Oh, that's right, yeah. It's not a real match, but right?
No, it's like a test game or something.
Yeah. I saw that in Facebook where he's wearing his K-Town jersey for the first half, and then the Victoria Cone jersey in the second. That's really neat. Mike Wunderlich was just...
he's one of our heroes of the promotion, so he deserves that.
I hope he continues to visit K-Town. Maybe he shows up in the West Curve, and hopefully. I hope he never pays for a beer in the city again.
No, I don't think so. Yeah. I really don't think so, because he was such a nice guy, and I once met him, and he was taking his time for the fans, especially for the younger ones, and I think that he knows that means so much for them. Like meeting one of their biggest, let's say, like a hero, and he acknowledged that, and he took the role and took his time, took pictures, wrote autographs and stuff. He's a very, very cool guy, and he deserves this game. And I think it's a good preparation for the upcoming match. And if you ask me, hopefully no one gets injured. You never know. But the first thing, do you think that Luther is going to be back in the goal, or will it be Kral again?
That's what I was going to say probably a while ago, and then our train got derailed, as it always does. We have a situation where we have 2 good keepers, and Kral has really... I have to say, when you're winning, and you've got a certain group of players that are doing this, you keep running that horse in the race until it loses. Yeah. And then you switch. Right now, he's comfortable. He's been playing. Luther's been on the sideline. Let him play.
My faults as well.
He's done a fantastic job in the goal.
Yep.
And the most important part, the IQ between the ears, is very good. I think Luther might be a little bit taller than him, but I like Kral. I think he's earned his place at the moment, and until he has a bad game, keep him in there.
I think he is the right guy at the right time.
Yeah,
he's 23 years old. He has a very good control over the penalty area. He's very good on the line as well. So he will be the one. I think.
And it's I'm sure Dirk Schuster has had to ask or answer that question to the media.
Yes.
So he's ultimately the guy that's going to make the decision.
Yep.
Because he's the coach, he's on the hot seat, and when you're the trainer, you're going to be judged on not the good decisions but the bad ones.
Yep.
So if it backfires, then everybody's going to say, "Why did you put this guy in?" Or "Why do you have this lineup or this formation? Why aren't you playing Boyd in the front?"
Yeah,
it's just like you can't. When you're the trainer, no matter what you do, good or bad, you're always in that hot seat.
Yep.
So I think he's making the right decisions because we've got 4 wins in a row now.
Yeah.
So
and here's the thing.
And by the way,
sorry,
he was in the hot seat for. I remember when we started out 0-2, and everybody was talking. This next game will be. It will decide whether Dirk Schuster gets fired.
I said this by myself. I said it as well.
He's been perfect.
Yeah. Since then.
So right now the heat is off of him, and now he can focus on game management. And
I think we call it here a luxury problem. Where we have like 2 very, very good players for the goalie.
Yeah, we call it an embarrassment of riches.
No, embarrassment of riches. That is way better, man. That is cool. But on the other hand, we have the same problem in the attacker situation, where we have Tachi, we have Ache, we have Boyd, Opoku. We have so many guys who can strike goals or score goals. I mean, and so let's see which of the players is going to be on the pitch for the starting blow. Let's see. But I'm really looking forward for the game. The guest block was sold out. I guess it was in 12 minutes or something, or 19 easily. Or something. It was extremely fast, sold out, and I saw I give my kidney for a ticket for the standing block. Same thing as in the game for Schalke, but man, this is going to be absolutely intense. And
I've never been to Karlsruhe. I know that they're playing in the new stadium now.
Yes.
Because I remember seeing videos from the old stadium where you had that jogging track around the field, and I guess the views were. It seems like whenever you're behind the track, it's like the field is so far away that you need binoculars to see what's going on. But I guess the new stadium is a lot more fan friendly. So
it is, especially for me as a handicapped person. It sucked so bad that you have the pitch is way further away, so I can see jack shit, and that really grinded my gears. But now they have in Germany, in Kaiserslautern, where you don't have the jogging thingy around the pitch. And I was talking to some guys which already joined it and saw a match there, and they said that the spirit there, the volume there is way better, because even though they are our enemies, they have a very good fan base. And I've been in Karlsruhe many times, and the problem there were that the guest block didn't have any roof, and where the place of the ultras were, they had a roof, but it was so way up high that the complete volume just got lost in air, and that was not cool. So now it's like in Kaiserslautern, you have the 2 fan groups facing each other.
Yeah, on opposite sides.
Yeah, on opposite sides. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to explain. So,
are you gonna be at the match?
No, as I said, unfortunately not. I'm going to watch it on live stream together with you guys. If you want to join me, my brother will be here, and we're going to complain about our play, about our match together, and yell together. So, I'm looking forward for it.
Well, I think to kind of wrap up this show.
Yep.
I did give you some homework to do.
Yeah.
And there were 2 questions that I asked.
Yep.
because we're going to talk about like something I wanted to actually talk about your friends from Nuremberg about the 16 founding members of the Bundesliga, which we're one of them, and so is Nuremberg.
And Karlsruhe.
So we can, and Karlsruhe, and we can kind of keep that until the next time when they can join us, and we can talk about where everybody's at. But the two questions that I wanted to ask you, and it was kind of just off the top of my head, but do you remember the first time that you cried during a sporting event and the last time that you cried during a sporting event?
Yes.
And I can answer those questions too, but I'll let you go first since you're the host of the show.
The first time I cried was when I was watching the game and we got the German championship because I was so lucky, because my brother was so lucky, and it was like tears of happiness. Then I remember myself crying a couple of times because we lost very important games for me, like the one against, we didn't lose, but it was a draw, against Leipzig. I was very emotional at this game, because of other things happened in my private life, and then this thing was the cherry on a shit cake sundae, and it's completely broke the barrier, and I started crying because I was so angry. Then, of course, I was in tears when we got relegated on my 30th birthday. And I was also in tears when we got promoted in Dresden because of happiness.
Yeah.
And I shedded so many tears in my freaking life because of football, and I was just talking to my uncle like this week, and in my party room, there is my table, and I'm sitting next to a wall, like it's on the opposite side, and it's completely covered with scarves. And I was looking at it, and I was like, man, my life would be so more way smoother, way easier without football.
But it wouldn't be as fun.
But it wouldn't be as fun. I added that immediately. And I've so much passion for my club that even sometimes when there is, let's say something like a game against Heidenheim.
Yeah.
When we score, that could happen that there 2 or 3 tears are coming out because of just the enjoyment and seeing this power and being a part of this power of a fan scene, of a fan curve is way overwhelming sometimes, and the emotions are so extreme that it's hard to compare to anything else. Like, don't get me wrong, my wedding was I had the most emotions on that day, but it was on one day. You know, it has like an extreme huge high level of emotions, but then you have a football match where it's extremely important, and you score, and you get like a extremely tight window of time where you have like extreme emotions, and so it can be extremely overwhelming. But yeah, brother, then what was the first and last time from you when you had tears in your eyes?
Well, let me put it to you this way. If you're not aware, Cleveland is one of the most talked about cities in America as far as sports heartbreak. If you were to take my heart out of my chest, put it on the table, and were like a doctor and you were looking at the heart, you would see all of these scars from different Cleveland is known to have a name for every heartbreak, every failure, every bad moment. We have like a nickname for it. Like in, I think it was 1978, we had a play called Red Right 88 where Brian Sipe, the Browns quarterback, was supposed to, if he couldn't find the receiver open, he was supposed to throw the ball away, and our kicker would have kicked the field goal to win. But it was like 2 degrees Fahrenheit that day, so it was like in the minus temperatures in Celsius, and the kicker had not been very good that day, so it was very risky. And Brian Sipe threw the ball, and one of the Oakland Raiders cut in front of our tight end, intercepted the ball in the end zone, and we lost. That was one. But the first time that I ever cried was, I think it was 1985 or 1986. The Cleveland Browns were driving down the field against John Elway and the Denver Broncos. This was for the AFC Championship game. This was the right to go to the Super Bowl. For the first time in Cleveland history, the Browns would have made the Super Bowl. And we drove all the way down the field. There was less than 2 minutes left, and we were on like the 3-yard line, and all we needed to do was get into the end zone. We would have won. We would have gone to the Super Bowl. Maybe would have won that, but Ernest Biner, our running back, had the ball, hit the line, and right before he went into the end zone, one of the Denver Broncos defenders punched the ball. Ernest Biner fumbled the ball. Denver recovered, and they went on to win the game. And I was watching the game at home, and I was maybe 10, and I remember crying because it's just like K-Town. The NFL here is what we live and die for every Sunday. It's now I have a whole weekend to get excited because Saturday is my German football. Sunday during the season is my American football. So I have a whole weekend to get involved. But
and when it comes to K-Town,
that was like the first time that I remember crying. And we've had so much heartbreak. I mean, we have the drive, the fumble, Michael Jordan in 1989 when he shot a 3-point ball over Craig Elo, one of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Michael Jordan, the best player of all time.
Yep.
So you can't really say,
be angry about that.
You can't be angry because you lost to the best. But when you're that close to a championship, it hurts. 2016, the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron James, for the first time since 1964, 52 years, where none of our sports teams had a championship. LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and the Cleveland Cavaliers came back from 3 games to none and came back against the Golden State Warriors, won the NBA championship, and 1 million people went to downtown and partied. That was the second to the last time that I cried out of joy. I was watching it in my basement with friends, and all those years of misery, heartbreak, and I've been on the other side of it, but to be able to say we came this close to losing it and we fucking won. Yeah. And I fell out of my sofa and I cried like a little baby. And then, of course, most recently, the night where we promoted against Dresden, I was just sitting there, and it hit me, and it's like that's how you know that you're a passionate fan. I'm from K-Town. This is my club now. This is my city, and I knew what the fans have suffered for because being from Cleveland, I know about disappointment, heartbreak, and being made fun of by every other city. Oh, little K-Town, So K-Town, when I tell you, it fit me like a glove because I've been there. I grew up being laughed at, and your team sucks all the time. And for the one time we get to say, fuck you, we just beat you in your own place, and we're going up and you're going down. And it was that moment. It was just like, and I partied till like 8 o'clock the next morning, all night long. It's one of those things that sticks with you. I still think about it this day. Yeah,
as you said, it sticks with you, and you can't get that out of your mind, and you can try to explain, but it's not able to pass on how much football or any other sports is worth to you if you're not feeling it. You go into the stadium and you feel it or you don't. And if you don't feel it the first time, you will never feel it.
And it's funny because I was talking to some of my friends at Oktoberfest last week, and I'm like, I do this podcast with my friend Matzes. And like one of the questions we're going to talk about is like, the first time and the last time that you cried because of a sporting event. And one of my friends, I'm not going to name her, but she's like, how do men cry with sports? It's just a game. I'm like, how do people cry at Titanic in the movie theater?
Yes,
or
that freaking ship is going down
on television. Oh, I can't believe Johnny died on this TV show. Oh, it's terrible. You know.
Yeah, but because you mentioned it, well. Let me.
I mean, what do you think's going to happen when you're watching Titanic?
Let me tell you a little secret. The ship is going to sink, no matter what.
Newsflash. Yeah.
Yeah. Newsflash.
We're not talking about
around about 100 years ago, a ship was sinking.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong; that was really terrible, and the cinematic thing was just amazing.
Oh, it's an amazing movie. Yeah.
But. I always think, like, why the people are crying so much about DiCaprio dying at the end. The thing which I'm really struggling every time is when the ship is going down and you see, like, the camera is on the roof and this old couple is laying in bed and hugging each other and the water is running under the...
coming in, yeah.
Oh my God, this 2 seconds.
See, I'm not those two people. I'm the guy that's when the ship is straight up.
Yeah,
and he pulls out his flask and he's drinking.
Yeah. Oh, like, okay.
That's me.
Yeah, me as well. So,
yeah.
Well, if I die drunk.
That's right. I will light some pyro and do
this.
But
as I said, you can't pass on the passion. You have to feel it. And even the answer, how can men cry because of sports? We freaking can. It's not just our escape. It's a part of our life. It's a part of our being ourselves.
Even a little bit more so in Europe, and that's what I've come to explain. Like when I explain the average German football fan, I think they're more intense and passionate than our really passionate NFL fans because, when you're watching your team, you're not only supporting your team, but your team is representing your city.
Yep.
And it's us versus them. And what city's better? What city has the better fans? I think football fans in Europe, in particular Germany, it's more close to the heart. And even a casual fan, I think, is right up there with our crazy NFL fans because sports, when I explain this to people that aren't sports fans, sports is like our escape.
Mm-hmm.
Like me and John might have different politics. We might disagree on a lot of different things. But when we go to the stadium and we're both wearing our jerseys and we're drinking beer together, all of those differences are put away for 90 minutes of football. And in that 90 minutes, you're part of one group and you're all supporting one team. And then when you leave, then maybe you're back to, my politics are better than yours, or this or that or the other thing. But for that little brief moment in time, everybody is joined together, no matter what color you are, what sex, what preference, what political ideology you like. You are all one group of fans.
Yes.
And that's why sports is important, because it gets us away from all that garbage, and we get to focus all of our emotions and our intensity to that square and those people running around on it,
Yep.
And to me, it's special. I mean, that's why it's a big deal to me.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said. So, is there anything else?
I think we've about covered it, man.
Yeah, I guess so too.
You've got a little break, and are you going to be doing the live stream for the FC Cologne?
No,
match?
Unfortunately not.
Okay.
I'm busy tomorrow night, but I will definitely have an open eye on the match, of course. Yeah. But not a live stream. But what is your prediction for the upcoming game against Karlsruhe?
I just want points, man. I would like to see 2-1.
Yeah, sounds good.
I think there's going to be, usually these derbies are really close.
Yep.
We've never lost to Mannheim, and we've beaten them once. So that's a good derby, is when both teams are very evenly matched. So there's always, if you get a draw, then both sides can brag, and then, okay, we'll see what happens next time. But these matches are always close.
Yep.
And it's going to take maybe some last-minute heroics to win. I don't see us getting out and then having to fight again. I think it might be 1-0 at halftime, and maybe it gets tied late, and then maybe a miracle happens where we get a penalty or extra time goal. I think it's going to be 2-1.
Okay.
That's going to be my prediction for us. 2-1 K-Town.
Sounds awesome. I would buy it immediately.
Yyep.
Okay,
and how
brother.
about you? What's your...
Okay,
if you had to make a tip. Tips they don't mean anything, but it's fun just to think.
Just to see our team winning these 3 last games with like a very tensioned ending, I would say that the upcoming game tomorrow against Cologne is helping us to get a better build up of the game.
Prepared, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And to build the way of tactics.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so I would say a 2-0 for us.
Against Karlsruhe?
Against Karlsruhe.
That would be amazing.
Hopefully it will be.
And make sure, just a reminder to set Karl Heinz as close to the TV. Maybe if you could set him on the ground, like Indian
I will do
style,
that. I just thought about that. I put him in front of me. As close to the TV as possible.
That's right.
And if that would help, I would sit him on top of the TV.
That's right. Just stick the skull like right in the screen.
Okay, my brother. Thank you so much again for the time. I enjoyed it again. I'm really looking forward for the upcoming one. And it's after the next 2 games, because we always cover 2 games. And so we have a week, 1 more to spare as usual. But I'm looking forward to our next Talking K-Town.
And for anybody that's watching this, if you want to like and subscribe, go ahead and do that. Also,
down below,
if you want to contribute to our conversation, when was the first time and the last time that you cried at a football match? Write the comments. We'd like to hear from you.
Exactly. And
loop it down there.
If you have any questions about anything, it doesn't need to be a sports question. Yeah. Just feel free and ask it.
That's right.
We will be happy to answer in the upcoming.
What is your favorite brand of bottled water?
Crystal Geyser from America. Crystal Geyser. Okay, my brother. Thank you so much, and I would say see you on the couch.
See you on the couch.